Good morning.
Good morning.
It's take two because the mic didn't work.
Yeah.
We didn't get very far, though. It wasn't like that time where we did a whole thing and then the fire alarm went off.
Yeah, that would have really sucked. That did suck.
Yeah.
Valuable Heart update. I have stickers now. Valuable Heart has stickers. They're $2
free
each.
shipping on
And
them.
free shipping. Yes. Here's
And you can actually get a discount. You can get all
samples.
3 of them.
all 3 of them for $5. Still free shipping.
So you save $1.
Yes. Yeah, so go check those out. Link will be in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the shirts are still available. There's only a couple left, so
Yeah.
you know,
Go check out the shirts.
go get them while you can.
Yeah. It's not like I'll never make any more if I run out.
I know, but you know,
Yeah.
it's like you made a batch.
Yeah.
So they might never be made again. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sitting kind of weird because I was trying to make Gig feel better because he's really irritable today.
I've just had a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long year
Well,
so
it's
far.
funny because for the second podcast of the year, I'm pretty sure it was called Our Crazy Week. We talked about how crazy our week was, but the last 2 weeks have been even crazier. So.
Yeah, we just been working a lot and like pursuing things, which is exciting. Your hairs are like in my face.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Here's my irritability coming out.
Your hairs are
in my face. I want to make more podcasts. Every time we sit down and do a podcast, like I get stressed out getting ready to do it.
Ow, I'm sorry.
time.
I always hit the table.
This year, I want to buy proper desk chairs that we can sit in comfortably and not have to be all over the place. Because both of these chairs are very uncomfortable.
Oh, they are.
But yeah, so we've been pursuing things and working hard. And Erika just got on the cover of a magazine. Her first ever cover.
Whatever.
Super exciting. It's called Retro Lovely. Go check it out. And yeah. Today we wanted to talk about something everyone's talking about, which is the coronavirus. Or the novel coronavirus. Just specifically what it's called.
Yeah, so don't drink any beer. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't know if I want the coronavirus. I think I want the Heineken virus.
There's a lot of racism around it, though.
Yeah, that's one of the things we want to talk about is how, like... well, we're going to go on about it, but it just seems like because it's a virus that originated in China, people think that Chinese people are infectious. That seems to be...
Okay, we have a newspaper here that's for our province, which is like a state. And our province is called British Columbia. And the newspaper for the province is called The Province. And on the cover of the newspaper, I guess this week, how many times does it come out? Like how frequent?
I don't really know.
But anyways, they call it the China virus.
Yeah, they had a picture of like the molecule or like the actual virus itself. Not molecule, it's the wrong word, but like a microscopic picture of the actual virus itself, and they just called it the China virus. China virus. And I didn't really read it. I saw this online, and apparently this magazine has always kind of been only one step up from a tabloid, but it's treated like an actual it's not a magazine, it's treated like an actual newspaper. So it's kind of frustrating because in Canada we kind of act like we're a little bit better than the rest of the world when it comes to multiculturalism and inclusivity with different nationalities and stuff, and not being as racist. But the problem is we are still quite racist. You see that a lot in Vancouver
It's ridiculous.
and Canada in general.
Well, and calling it the China virus is like so extreme, but people are like, a lot of people are calling it the Wuhan virus.
Yeah, which isn't even the right name for it.
No.
That's just the city it originated from, or
Yeah.
the town, or whatever.
That's not what
Yeah.
it's called. Now, like, if you hear Wuhan, you're going to get freaked out because you're going to think it's the virus.
Yeah.
Because it's being associated with it.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I mean, what if you had a virus that started in New York? Yeah, I guess you could call it the New York virus.
But people wouldn't do that.
People wouldn't do that. No, they would, especially in the States, they'd be calling it by whatever it was called, like its scientific name.
Like, okay, the H1N1, when that was a thing,
Yeah.
we called it the swine flu.
Yeah.
Because that's where it came from, right?
Yep.
But, like, that's not its name. It's
Well, the novel
H1N1.
coronavirus originally came from bats, I believe. So why aren't we calling it the bat virus?
Yeah.
Batman virus.
Well, now they're saying that pangolins are spreading it.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I just saw it on Reddit, so.
Yeah, well, I watched a video from Dr. Mike, and he's obviously a doctor, and he's done a couple of videos about it.
Really? I thought his first name was just Doctor.
Yeah, his first name is Doctor, and his name is Mike. His
last
last name
name's
is Mike, but he's not a doctor. He just likes talking about medical things. No. But he was going on about how your pets can't get it. Like the CDC, or not the CDC, the WHO has confirmed that your pets can't get it. But I did question that a little bit. I'm not a doctor, so I'd take what I say with a grain of salt, but I was questioning that a little bit because it originated from animals. And then
people got it.
Yeah. But the reason why people got it was because it originated from animals that were on live animal market. In a live animal market. That's almost kind of like shady, right? Well, it is shady. And there's all these people spending all this time around these animals who are not clean. They're not domesticated. So maybe that's where the line is. Maybe it's domesticated animals can't really get it because there's another level of hygiene there with us humans being so closely connected with them.
Well, and there's a lot of things where, like, animals can spread viruses to humans, but humans can't spread viruses to animals.
Yeah. So maybe it's like that. Maybe it's like a one-way.
So it's like, sure, if your pet gets bit by a bat that has it or whatever, right, then sure, like, maybe they would get it.
Yeah, well,
but
maybe
it's not, like, spreadable from human to pet.
Yeah, maybe it's spreadable from animal to human, animal to animal, but not human to animal.
But I
Yeah.
mean, we don't know. We're not
doctors, we're not scientists, we're not virologists. I don't know if that's, I'm just trying to come up with something to say. The other thing that I wanted to mention about the novel coronavirus is that people think it's this, like, you get it, you're gonna die virus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's dangerous. It's not like, well, first of all, the coronavirus itself, that's like a kind of virus. So, as far as I know. So that's been compared to the common cold, if not a version of the common cold.
Yeah,
right?
and they say that it causes pneumonia.
Yeah.
Or it can turn into pneumonia.
So that's the dangerous part.
Yeah.
Is it turns into pneumonia. And the people who are at risk are people with weak immune and respiratory systems. So anybody who's elderly, or maybe babies, toddlers, or people like me who have asthma. I mean, I'm a pretty healthy individual, so I'm not too worried about myself. But if I did get it, then that would be I would have to be a bit more careful with how I recover or how I get treated, right? Because I have that more vulnerable respiratory system. So I find that really interesting because people are like, oh my God, I don't want to get it. But the average healthy person would probably just have the symptoms of a cold.
They've released people who have recovered from it in China. There was like 150 people, I think, that they released because they got better.
Yeah. And at the time of making this video, no one outside of China, I believe, has died.
Yeah.
And last I heard, there was 11 people infected in the States. There could be more now, but they were being closely watched, and they were all, relatively fine. So that's I feel like there's this fear mongering, this panic spread. I don't know where it comes from, but people are getting excited about it, right? It's like,
I mean, the first part of it is people really love believing in conspiracy theories.
yeah.
I don't know, they think it's fun to believe that the government's lying to us. I don't know, but they just believe that I don't know, that it's way worse than it is and that the whole world's gonna die. It's like, I don't know, get a grip on reality. Like,
well, I mean, we like watching movies like Outbreak, and what was the other one that everyone was talking about, comparing the coronavirus to? Contagion, right?
Yeah.
People like watching those because it's exciting to see this kind of animalistic reaction society would have to like a breakdown, right?
I know, but
like,
people are getting like scared and like freaking themselves out over it. It's like, it's not even here. We have one case in BC. Like, you really don't have to be freaking out and like scaring other people.
Well, people are freaking out about it because they're choosing to focus on that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, again, it's like people like watching scary movies because it scares them, because it gets their adrenaline going.
Yeah.
I personally don't know exactly why people are choosing to get freaked out about it and trying to spread that fear. But at the same time, I think it's rooted in something like that adrenaline rush you get from watching a movie, feeling like you're in danger. And like, people love The Walking Dead. That's all about a virus that spreads and kills people and causes havoc, right? I find that really interesting.
I think the other side of it is because of SARS, when China was trying to cover it up and being like, it's nothing. There's nothing happening. There isn't hundreds of people dying right now.
Yeah.
You know? So people are a little distrustful of China. They're like, well, you had to build a hospital in 6 days to help people who have the coronavirus. So, you know, how bad is it really? Like, we don't really get the full picture.
I mean, it comes down to publicity, right? People already kind of look down on China because of the culture and the history. It just doesn't really, Western culture doesn't really look fondly upon it, right? So, and like, there's no exact reason why. It's just the way cultures interact with each other. But at the same time, it's publicity. So if a country that's already worried about its image because of the way its government works and the way its culture is compared to the other powerful cultures, they're worried about how they look. So if something goes wrong, they're going to try and not cover it up, but make it seem not as bad as it is. But props to them to build a freaking hospital in 6 days to deal with it.
And people are saying, well, why would they have to do that? Do you really want to have people with coronavirus in a hospital, like just a normal hospital? What if you go in with a broken arm? You're at risk to get the coronavirus. Of course they want another facility to help just those people, since it's such a contagious virus.
Who are in regular hospitals? People with already weakened immune systems and weakened respiratory systems.
It would be putting other people at risk.
Yeah.
So don't just assume the worst. I mean, like, the thing is, I'm not trying to erase anything or say that anything is 100% like this or that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, stop trying to make other people feel scared.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't
it's
help.
not worth it.
If you're with trusted friends and you're talking about conspiracy theories and then you get into that kind of mindset of like, ooh, it would be kind of scary if, you know, coronavirus came to our town and spread and then infected everybody. Yeah. Okay, that's exciting to talk about when you're like sitting around with your friends, joking around, talking about those kinds of things. But don't go out in public and talk to people at work or whatever and be like, oh, it's so scary, right? When I'm at work, I work in an environment sometimes where we do have to wear masks or we do have to worry about our health. But I'm like, yeah, it's just the cold, right? It's just a cold. It can be dangerous, but if you're careful and you're healthy, then you're probably going to be okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the masks, right? Because a lot of people think if they wear those like simple one-piece masks that have the loops that go over your ear and then they kind of like pinch at your nose a little bit, that's going to stop you from getting sick. Usually people wear those to stop other people from getting sick.
Like, if you haven't gotten your flu shot and you go into the hospital, they ask you to wear one so that you don't give other people the flu. Yeah. Not so that you don't get the flu.
Like,
they
those
don't give a crap if you get it.
Yeah, those are the kind of masks that doctors wear when, like, operating in surgery rooms. And they wear those so that they don't introduce any foreign things into the person's body. Like, it is a little bit of protection for the person wearing it, but there are way more effective methods. And like in Vancouver, in the city that we live in, it's almost impossible to get any kind of mask because people were so freaked out about the coronavirus that they're all buying them to try and protect themselves. So now you can't get any. And what about the people who do need them? Or, you know, hospitals are now having trouble getting them because there aren't any.
Yep.
So it's a bit ridiculous.
We live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a society. it's blowing things out of proportion, causing like almost like a widespread panic kind of thing. Hysteria, yeah. I find it exciting, right? It is exciting when something scary happens.
Yeah, but not exciting in a good way.
Not exciting in a good way.
Sorry.
Right? It's like the same thing, not exactly, but there are people who are prepping for the apocalypse, right? They don't want the apocalypse to happen. Well, maybe they do a little bit, but you never know, right? It's exciting to prepare for something that you need to survive, right? Survival. Something we don't really have to do in society these days. Mm-hmm. It's like something that we've evolved to need, like to have to do, but we don't have to use those skills anymore.
I guess for me, it's like I don't want people trying to convince me to be scared of it, because I'm already like an anxious person. I already panic at things that sometimes I don't even know what I'm panicking at. My body's just like, oh, we gotta survive. Don't know what, we gotta survive. There's no danger, but we gotta do it. So like, don't talk to me about like, oh, you should be scared. Don't you know how bad it is? Like, there's conspiracy theories about like, oh, people are just dying in the streets in China, and they're shutting down all the signals so that nobody can contact people outside of China. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, are you hearing yourself?
Well, think about it. If you're freaked out and scared and in a panic mode about something like a virus or anything really, are you really going to be more fit to deal with a bad situation now? Or if you were calm, collected, and thinking, you know what? I can deal with this. You're going to be much better in that situation. Mm-hmm. You're going to have way better like problem-solving skills and like energy and reflexes, like little things that really do matter in an actual emergency.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they first announced that the coronavirus was in Vancouver, there's one case, as I said. But I kind of freaked out. Like, I was like, you're not taking transit anymore, mm-hmm. because you take transit to work every day,
yeah,
or whenever you work. And then you work with people who, a lot of them, like, are sick a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's, I got really scared. And then I realized, why am I freaking out? Like, one person has it, and they're in quarantine. Like, they literally took them from the plane. They were like, okay, let's go,
And they're monitoring all the people they've been in contact with.
Mm-hmm. And I realized I was being crazy, and I was like, okay, I'm distancing myself. Like, I need to just have faith in the government and in the information that we're being given. And, if something does happen and it turns out that this virus is way worse, then I'll accept that when the government tells us. But for now, like sure, there's some things that the government is shady about, but right now, I'm like, for my own mental health, I need to just have faith in what they're saying.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like the government or even the Chinese government wants people to die from this virus.
No.
That doesn't make any sense. Part of me is like, I wonder if this virus was happening anyways, right? This is the actual conspiracy theorist in me. Wondering if, like, things like this happen all the time, but it's only being, like, publicized and talked about to distract from something else, right? That seems more realistic to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that's just, like, a fun little thought I had. Mm-hmm. Not, like, something I'm going to take serious and go, hey, I thought about this.
And
this could be true.
And talk to people at work and people, like, everyone you come in contact with, like, let's talk about this, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, at work, I'll talk to a coworker and be like, hey, the coronavirus, everyone's freaking out about it, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, it's just a common cold pretty much. And if you're healthy and you're careful, you're probably not going to get it. And, I mean, we don't really even have it here, right?
I had work with someone, and he was kind of, like, worried. He was like, well, what's going on? Like, I hear so much about it, but, like, I don't know. All I see is panic. And I was like, it's the common cold.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a common cold, but it's common cold-like symptoms, and it could cause pneumonia. So it's just people who have weak immune systems and weak respiratory systems who, are really at risk.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for telling me. Like, he was like he didn't know. All he saw was, like, panic, people freaking out about it, and he got really scared.
Yeah. Well, and people go, oh, here's this new thing that's really scary, right? Or it could be really scary.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. Nobody's actually saying that it is really scary. People are saying it could get really scary.
Yeah.
But
Which I'm not denying.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah,
it could.
That's true. But no one's talking about something that already exists. And you look at the coronavirus or the novel coronavirus and you go, okay, here's the number of how many people have died so far. It's in the hundreds, all in China. And here's the number of people who have been infected. Okay, that's a seems like a big number, but then if you compare it to influenza, tens of thousands of people die from influenza every year.
That's the flu for people who don't know.
Yeah, influenza. Yeah, so there you go. Something else that is there all the time, every year, right? And there's vaccinations for it. I mean, we could go on I think we could do a whole nother podcast about vaccinations.
I mean, the thing about the flu is people don't trust the flu shots. Like, even me, like, I have a really hard time getting myself to get a flu shot because there's only one strain that you get, like, immunized for.
I don't know if that's true.
No?
No, I don't know if that's true.
Oh. I thought it was just, like, you get, like, what they think is going to be the, like...
Yeah, they can't get everyone, but they get the ones that they think are going to be. It's not just one. It's like a batch.
Okay.
I think it's like, I don't know, it could be like, I need to do the research, but something like 20 strains that they think are going to be the most worrisome that year. But I mean, it's such a complicated thing that there's no way to perfectly get it, but there's a way to reduce the harm.
Yeah, but I find whenever I get it, like... I used to get it when I was a kid, and I seemed, like, fine. And then I got really sick. I don't even know when. Maybe I was, like, 10 or something. And then I didn't get it for a couple years, and then there was the H1N1. And I think we were, like, 13 or something. And I decided to get it. Like, we were like, oh, we should get this because this is getting kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
And I got it, and I got so sick. Like, I was out of school for a month, like, in bed, like horribly sick. And I think the worst of it, like, the thing is, it was like 3 weeks of being really sick, and then that last week was so horrible. It was like I was having nosebleeds every day, and I was like swallowing blood and then throwing it up and like fainting and stuff like that. And my mom was like ready to take me to the hospital, but once that was like one day where I had all that stuff, and then after that I was completely fine.
Interesting.
It was, like, super weird.
Well, and there's no way to know for sure that you had H1N1 or you got it from the vaccination or, right?
No, I know.
Yeah, but that's the part where people get concerned and start to not trust things like vaccinations because they go, well, you don't know for sure. And, yeah, that's reality for everything.
And then I never got another flu shot after that. I still haven't since I was 13.
I've gotten, I got the flu shot last year and I got the flu shot this year. And I've gotten colds, but I find that I get sick less often. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the flu shot.
I haven't been sick in maybe 2 or 3 years. I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But, like, when I get sick, I get really sick.
Yeah. But also, when you started living with me, we started eating healthier and eating more, right? Like, it's a little bit like we would take care of each other kind of thing.
Yeah, but
right?
I had some really bad sicknesses when when I first moved in here.
Oh, really?
There was 2. There was... one of them was because of emotional stress.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, really doing really bad emotionally. And I was... Oh, no, maybe I didn't even live here then. But I just remember I was having, like, nosebleeds every day, and, like, I couldn't... But my nose was so dry and, like, stuffed up, so I'd try to, like... do that, like, steam thing.
Yeah.
And it would just, like, soften the skin, and I would just gush blood, and I had so much, like, it was so hard to stop. And then we got really sick, like, a year after I moved in. So what's that? 2016, I guess, we got really sick. And it was, like, we got sick, and then, like, your parents got sick, and we got better. And then we got sick again, and they got better. We just kept passing it, like, back and forth. I know you can't pass. Like, once you have it, it's done.
Yeah.
You can't pass stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. Your immune system's
been weakened, and
we just kept catching different things.
Yeah.
It was so horrible.
Yeah.
But then after that, I think, like, you have gotten sick a couple times, but I've been amazing. Like,
yeah.
I'm knocking on wood again because I'm scared.
I got sick a few weeks ago. But I don't even remember it.
You had the flu for like a couple days. You had a fever.
Oh, I had, something weird.
Yeah.
It was, I don't even know what it was. Because that's the thing, is you can have physical reactions to something that aren't actual physical things, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to, probably before we end here, because we'll probably end pretty soon, but I wanted to mention one more thing, I guess, since we're on the topic of, the coronavirus and then kind of like vaccines and stuff like that, is TB, tuberculosis, right? Tuberculosis used to be a terrible problem, especially in North America.
Yeah.
And there were these huge hospitals and wards built just for people with tuberculosis. And it was pretty much, you get it, you just gotta wait until you die. Terrible, terrible sickness. But then a vaccine was developed. And we don't have tuberculosis anymore. Well,
we didn't.
So that's all I'm gonna say, right? People stopped getting the vaccine for it.
Now it's back.
So maybe connect that with the possibility of a vaccine being created for coronavirus and what that could do, the good that it could do, because people are so scared, right?
But also, like, look up the good stuff. People are being released from hospitals because they are better, because they don't have the coronavirus anymore, because they, like, what's it called?
Recovered,
thank you. I was like, rewarded? I don't know why that was in my head.
They've been rewarded with life, with health.
Yeah, like, the flu every year, as Gig says, kills tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Is that just in the States, or is that worldwide?
That's just in the States.
That's just in the States, okay? Where they have good health care. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because people won't agree with me.
Relatively. You can say relatively compared to certain places,
healthcare.
Right?
Compared to Canada, they do.
Yeah. That was something that I came across recently, was Canadians, criticizing American healthcare. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Right?
America has amazing healthcare.
America has amazing healthcare. Yeah, sometimes you have to pay for it, but in Canada you have to pay for it too. And in the States, from my own experience with my mom being a nurse and having worked in Washington and California, it's not like you go to the hospital, you're sick, and they're like, nah, you got to give me the money, otherwise we can't treat you. It's not like that. They treat you. And if you don't have the money, they can't really charge you. It depends, right? But that's what my mom said. I trust my mom.
It depends on the state, and it also depends on
it depends on, like,
your insurance.
Your insurance, your income, right? Your, like, financial standing, like if you have no money, they're not going to be able to get any money out of you, and they know that, right? So,
well, if you have a baby, I remember in the Mindy Project, she's an OB, and she's like, oh, like, I don't want to take on patients who don't have insurance, but then this woman comes in and she doesn't speak English, and her son is like, please help her, she's 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
She doesn't have insurance. And she's like, no, I don't want to take her because I won't get paid because she doesn't have insurance. But she ends up taking her anyways. And, like, what I get from that is you can have a baby in the States and not pay for it if you don't have insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have the money, like, you're having a baby. Why would you have to pay to have a baby? That's what doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, yeah. And also, if you live in the States and you have to pay for your care, ask for an itemized list, because apparently they try to charge you for stuff that you don't actually need to be charged for. And apparently if you ask for an itemized list, it's less money than,
Well, that's where we could get into a whole nother conversation, because it's in the States, hospitals are businesses, right? Each individual hospital has to operate at a certain level, otherwise it's not going to survive as a business.
I don't agree with how much they charge people for care. Like insulin is like...
Well, that's a whole nother thing that's like, the pharmaceutical industry.
But anyways, what I was saying, I don't agree with that, but America has way higher standards for healthcare than we do here in Canada. And that's a fact. That's not my opinion.
And that's a fact. Yeah, so just be careful out there, but don't get too scared. Take things with a grain of salt. And
check your sources. Just because you see an article on Facebook, like, maybe click on it and read it and see who's posting it.
See who's posting it, see who's wrote it. Does that source cite any sources? Like, you can see the paper trail. It should be there.
If there's no sources on it, then maybe don't take it as seriously as you are,
Yeah, or use Google. You know, Google some things. Google isn't necessarily perfect. Wikipedia isn't necessarily perfect. But you can go look up, you know, deaths over, like, you know, the history of TB, right? Tuberculosis. Those are some pretty large numbers. So, and then compare them to what we're scared about today.
Yep.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We do a charity. Every time we do a podcast, we shout out a charity. So instead of you guys worrying about, you know, supporting us, we do this as a hobby. Go check out a charity and support them. So this week we have the St. Elizabeth Health Foundation. I've had experiences with these people. They're great. They train nurses and individuals to provide home support and care for people who can't leave their home, people who need it. Let's see, what do they say here? What we do: deliver quality, trusted home care to people where and when they need it. Design, develop, and deliver excellence in seniors' lifestyles. Promote and deliver smart family caregiving through our consumer brand. So they do a lot of good things. They help people out when they need it. And you can go to sehc.com/foundation/donate to donate.
Or you can just go to schc.com if you want to read about them.
Yeah.
We would really appreciate it. We also have other charities that we shout out every week, so you can go watch our other podcasts and see those ones too. And if you send us a screenshot of your donation, we'll shout you out on the podcast.
Yeah. Email us, message us on Instagram,
Tweet us. Our social media is in the description.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. As always, weigh in the comments. Yeah. We love having conversations with you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.